Here's a question from Lee. He wants to try to create this intro here. Let's just play it. Okay, I think we get the gist. Let's show him how to do it. All right, let's select a video clip that we want to use for our underlying video. And we'll just use this scene right here. We now need a black background on which we can overlay our titles. So let's go to Stock Media and go to Solid Colors and just select the black color. And it's about 5 seconds long. It's whatever you set your defaults to, but 5 seconds is probably what we need for our introduction to our title. We need a title, so let's go ahead and just select the default title, and we'll put that in there. Basically, we need a font that is big and fat, so let's click on Text, and then click on Fonts. Okay, I've checked out a couple of different titles, so we will look at the recent. Let's see up here. Here's one that's fairly fat, and another one is this one here. I think we'll go with this one, Show Card Gothic. All right, so now we have a nice fat title, and then all you need to do is to type in whatever it is that you want. I'm just going to leave it this way here. I am going to put this on the second line, and I'll center the text. For no particular reason, just to show you that you can modify it, type in your own words, whatever. Okay, and let's just go back and scrub through the title that Lee set up. And we can see the first thing that happens is that there is a fade in of the words. The second thing that we can see is that it's not the same text on both lines, so we'll have to change. It may be the same font, but one is a smaller size, so we'll have to do that also. So it fades in, and we have two types of titles, or two font sizes at least, and then we can see that the animation of the words is that they get larger and larger. And then at this point here, what we can see now is that the black background is fading. So these are the things that we have to take into account. And it continues to get larger and larger. And eventually the black is totally faded out. And we moved right into the underlying video. So let's add all of those elements to our custom title here. So the first thing we wanted to do was to make the subtitle here slightly smaller. And we can do that simply by just highlighting that portion. You could do it by putting two titles in there, but that just makes it more confusing. But if you just highlight up over here in the text box the exact words you want to make smaller, we have the same font for both of them. So we will just change this one to about 64. So now we have a large one and now a smaller one. And now let's replicate the fading in, and that happens within the first second or so. So what we want to do again is to stay on our title here, and let's go down to compositing, and we will set a keyframe right here. Yeah, we'll just do it right here, and we will set the opacity to 0. And so now we have here on the timeline the first keyframe. And we're going to go over 1 second. Let's see here. Okay, that's 1 second right there. You could also have just typed in 1 right there. But after this first second here, we want the title to be completely faded in. So we will just reverse that. And so now we can see that we have gotten this portion of the title to work. Okay, so we've got our words and we got our two different sizes, and we'll scrub again. We can see, all right, we're fading in, and we have our two different sizes. The next action that happens is that our title gets bigger and bigger, bigger, and it seems to grow all the way through to the end. So let's keyframe that action in. And let's let me just go one more time here and just see here. We are right. Okay, it doesn't start growing until after they're fully increased in size. So let's just, at the keyframe that we're at, let's make sure we go up here to text scale. And we're going to, from here, we're going to set a scale. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go all the way to the end of our, and we can do shift end, shortcut key, shift end moves us right to the back, one frame beyond. But we're going to add the size right here. So at this point here, let's scale it up. And you know what? I think what we're going to do, let's go back to here again, and let's click the entire transform, because I think we want to do two things. We want not only the title to get larger up to this point here, we want it to get even larger, but I think we also kind of want to move this down a little bit, so we can change the Y position here and just kind of move it down, because we want the underlying video to show up in the letters. And so let's just scale it up really big, and I'm going to continue lowering this. Whatever the final thing we decide to do, that's what we're going to get. Just so it's okay that we play around with it until we like what we see. So something like that. Because what we're going to do is we're going to actually get to fade out the black background. But let's see right here, and let's just play that. We can see that our I'm going to turn off this sound here. We don't need the sound for the video itself. But basically, we've made this grow larger and larger. Now, the other thing we want to do is we want to fade out the black. And what we're going to do that, I think, okay, let's select the black, and I'm just being arbitrary here. I think up here in the last second or so, we got 5 seconds, so let's go to the 4-second mark, and we can go to exactly the 4-second mark just by typing 00 right there. And that's going to move our playhead to exactly the 4-second mark. And at this point, let's set opacity. And remember, we've selected our black background. And we will set it right here. It's opacity 100%. And by the time we get to here, we want it to be 0. So then we will just, okay, again, let's make sure that we have the right track selected. Going back to the black, and we can now just eliminate that to 0. And at that point, now the underlying video has is fully visible. Okay, so the only thing that we're missing is we need to make the white transparent. And what we're going to do is we're going to combine these two elements right here, the top here, the text, and the black background. And we're going to create a compound clip, and we will just do that. We'll right click on those two and create compound clip, and we'll just call it my custom text. Okay, so now we have an element called my custom text. We put these two things together into one thing, and all we have to do now is change the composition on this to make the letters transparent. And we do that by selecting that. And again, it's the compound clip that we're selecting. And we change the blend mode from normal to multiply. And there you can see we now have the underlying scene, our little thing down here, showing up through the letters. So let's go back to the beginning and let's just play that. Okay, so scrubbing through it, we can see that our text grows. Okay, first of all, it becomes apparent, or it becomes visible. Next thing, our titles grow. And once we got it grown large enough, now we are fading out the black. And here we go. We have exactly what we need in order to make this custom title. So there we go. We've made our custom title in a few separate steps. We've added our animation, and we've got what we need. I don't know about these black lines there, but that could be finessed a little bit more if we had wanted to. I think probably if we double click here on the title, we don't need to know that anymore. We go back in here again. Let's see if there's, I don't see that there is an outline for the letters. So I was thinking that was the issue. But I think that's sort of a minor thing. And depending on what title you decide to choose, make sure you choose one that doesn't have an outline on it. And I think there was only one last little thing left in his title that we didn't do, and that was a little soundtrack. So let's just take a look at that again and skip the part where I'm talking, and let's just see when we play it. Okay, so he has a nice little soundtrack that he adds on, and we can just go into the audio section, and I'm not going to try to find that same one. I'm just going to take a simple one right here, and I'm going to drop that down on our audio track. I think maybe we can shorten it here a little bit just so that the sound starts right away, and let's give this a shot. And there we go. Now we have added our soundtrack to our custom title. Of course, it is your own custom title, so you can choose your own fonts, you can choose your own animation. If you didn't like the combination of the animation that I looked here, you want something to overlap or whatever, you want to get into this compound clip here, just double click on it, and now you're in the detail section. You can change when these different actions occur. If you want something to occur sooner, you want the fading to be spread more out. Let's see here. Let's go back to home here. We want this fade in to take a little longer. We can move that. And then we just go back and we play it again. Okay, so there you have it more or less. And that's how you do it.